from the book of Acts, chapter 28, verse 17 through 20. And so the background of where we are right now is Paul has been arrested. He was in Jerusalem, and he was preaching the gospel, and the Jewish people were unhappy with what he was saying because they didn't want to believe what he was saying about Jesus. And they had him arrested. The guards there in the police force there in Jerusalem took him into custody. They were going to torture him, and Paul said, "Hold on, I'm a Roman citizen." And back in those days, if you were a Roman citizen, then you had certain rights, and you couldn't be tortured, and you had to have a fair trial. So the guard said, "Okay, we're going to stop what's going on right now, and in fact, I'm going to get you out of here because these Jews want to kill you, and I don't want to have someone killed on a Roman citizen killed on my watch." So they actually got him out of Jerusalem, and he went to another court and appealed to Caesar, so because that was his right. And then so Paul has taken a long journey to down to Rome. Now he's under arrest at this time because he's been charged with a crime, but he hasn't been found guilty yet. So right now where we are is Paul is in Rome. He's under arrest. He hasn't had his trial yet, but he's had God's favor because the Romans put him in his own little rented apartment or rented house, and that's where he's living while he's awaiting trial. He has a guard that lives with him, but he's able to have visitors, and he's been able to preach the gospel. So that's his status right now. And I'll start reading. Acts 28:17, and this is the Message version. 3 days later, Paul called the Jewish leaders together for a meeting at his house. He said, "The Jews in Jerusalem arrested me on trumped-up charges, and I was taken into custody by the Romans. I assure you that I did absolutely nothing against Jewish laws or Jewish customs. After the Romans investigated the charges and found there was nothing to them, they wanted to set me free, but the Jews objected so fiercely that I was forced to appeal to Caesar. I did this not to accuse them of any wrongdoing or to get our people in trouble with Rome. We've had enough trouble through the years that way. I did it for Israel. I asked you to come and listen to me today to make it clear that I'm on Israel's side, not against her." And here's the part that really caught my attention. "I'm a hostage here for hope, not doom." So why that caught my attention is because Paul looks at this situation, even though he's imprisoned, and even though his own people, the Jews, are turning against him and trying to kill him, he says all this is happening for hope. It's happening for a good reason. It's not for doom. It's not for a bad reason. I'm going to find this same passage in another version. I hadn't planned on doing this, so bear with me. I've asked to see you and talk with you. It is because of the hope of Israel that I am bound with this chain. It is because of the hope of Israel that I'm bound with this chain. So, and the same thing, he sees his situation as one of hope. Even though he's being threatened with murder by his own people, even though his own government has imprisoned him unfairly, and he's now waiting, and he ends up waiting for 2 years before he's able to have his trial. So he's in prison for 2 years on trumped-up charges. Even though all of that, he says this is for hope. There's a reason for this. There's a good, God's good is coming out of this situation. So the way that we can apply that to our own lives is when we go through trials, when we go through hard times, we can't focus on on ourselves. We have to focus on God and understand that through everything that we go through, there's a reason, there's a purpose, and there is hope. And that in the end, we have to trust and have faith that everything is going to work out, that we go through things for a reason. And we may not understand it. We may not understand it for a long time. We may never understand it in this lifetime. But we just have to have faith and know that the trials we face and that the difficulties we go through are for hope and not for doom. So keep that in mind as you go through life and go through your day and go through your week.